What is going on today, guys? Welcome back to Fix It Garage and another new project car. That's right, guys, we've got ourselves a green 1996 Honda Civic sedan that I bought with my own money. And you guys will not believe how much I bought this car for. This car is a one-owner Civic that has some problems beyond just this paint that you guys are seeing right here. But I paid a whole $100 for this car. This is the $100 Civic. And this is going to be a new budget project. The idea behind this project is to see how much money I can spend, like how little money I can spend, and what can I sell the car for. We're gonna see how much money we have total in this car and how much money we get when we sell it. That is the plan for this car. This is not a car I plan on keeping. It's not a car I plan on driving a ton. The idea is to fix it and sell it. And I will explain why I got it for $100 before the end of this video. But let's take a walk around the outside of the car first. Let's get a feel for it before we really dive into what's going on with this car. All right, so starting with the exterior, we can all see the clear coat peeling, or in some spots where the paint's just coming completely off and peeling off due to a bad respray. We can see that going on up front. We can see the massive clear peel all over the hood, and the roof and the pillars, moving back to the trunk. It's not perfect. As a matter of fact, it's far from perfect. This is the worst paint condition car I think I've ever owned in my whole life. I normally don't own anything like this, but for $100, it's not bad. And with a lot of elbow grease, I think we can make it look decent. Not perfect, but decent. Fairly decent. And I look forward to showing you guys the process that we're going to try to do to revive this paint job. We've picked up a lot of materials to try and clean up this paint and make it look really, really good. So we're gonna walk you guys through that process when the time comes, but that's not the first step. First thing we need to do before we can start doing any work with the paint is make sure the mechanicals are all good. Because a car that looks good doesn't always sell very well. You need a car that looks good, and runs good. But we'll get more to that later. Obviously, it's green. My very first car was a two-door green Civic. It was a 2000, but very similar. This car is 100% stock. All stock. Not a single mod other than the radio, which I don't really count anymore because like every old car has an aftermarket radio in it now. So, but literally that's the only thing in this entire car. There is nothing at all in this car that's modified. And as we walk through it, you guys will see this thing is cherry. Like if I wanted to do a built Civic, this is what I would be starting with. But it has one major problem for me personally. It's got too many doors. We have enough 4-doors in my fleet right now. We have the Subaru, we have the CR-V, and we have the Canyon, the GMC Canyon. All of those are 4-doors. I don't need any more 4-door cars. And if I'm gonna build another like track-focused car, I wanna do a 2-door. And if this was a green 2-door Civic, I would be all over this car. This would be the next big project for me that I would buy and I would build with my money instead of, you know, building cars for other people like we've been doing lately. I don't have a 2-door. We've got a 4-door. So the best thing to do with this car is a budget rebuild. I'm rambling on again, so let's continue. Moving to the inside of this car, and you guys are not gonna believe it. Look at how clean this interior is. Like, this interior is amazing. Now, when you see an interior like this, you think what? Maybe this thing has 100,000 miles, maybe? No, check this out. This car has 317,000 miles. 317,000 miles, and the interior looks this good? These people took insane care of this car. Like, look at this. Like, there's no staining on the seats, no rips in the cloth, no anything. Like, the interior is perfect. The only thing that you see is like the fade that you get on these tan interiors from just being in the sun. Like, look at it. Like, this is cherry. It's got the factory cup holders. It even has the factory disc drive from back in the day. Like, you don't find cars with this stuff in it anymore. This is crazy. We have all kinds of things. The only, and I mean like the only thing wrong with this interior is this sun visor won't stay up. So we need to get a sun visor for the interior. That's like the only thing I really need to fix inside of this car. Everything else is pretty much mint. Now, mint, yes. Functional, no. We do have some issues in the interior. Some of the windows don't work and some of the door locks don't work. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to diagnose and repair those once we fix some of the other issues. Another issue with this car is you'll see some of these trims are not great. We're gonna try to heat them up and reshape them, but also, yeah, that door has a bad door hinge, so it moves. That's another really easy fix I'm gonna show you guys how to do when we redo this interior and fix everything up. So when we fix the interior, we're gonna show you guys this door hinge. That's gonna be an entire video all in itself, just getting the interior ready on this car to sell. But that's like all that's really going on. Like I said, we have a few door locks and a few windows that don't work, which we're gonna cover when we, really start tearing into this interior and fixing the things that are broken. But overall, like even in the back in here, look at this. All like mint interior. Like, this is amazing. I'm obsessed with how clean this car is. You have the traditional fade back here on the back seat from sitting in the sun. But other than that, everything else in this interior is amazing and immaculate. And again, we open up this door, same story from this side. Super clean interior. Like, you guys, I don't think you realize just how clean and perfect this interior is. Like, looking down in here, you have some staining, traditional carpet stains you would expect to see, but I've got a really nice shampooer and we can shampoo these carpets, and trust me, we're gonna be shampooing the whole interior. This thing's gonna look so darn good when it's done. It's gonna look even better than it does now, and it already looks fantastic. I don't think you guys get it, guys. This has 200,000 more miles than my Civic had back when I had my first car. And the interior is as good or even a little bit cleaner than mine was. Now, I ruined the interior on my car, absolutely, by doing really dumb plaid all over it, but we're gonna gloss over that, and no pictures of that for you guys. But this is immaculate. I love this thing. Like, look at how clean this is. I cannot stop obsessing over how clean it is. And the best part is it's an EX, so it's a sunroof car. My first car was an EX with a sunroof. I love this thing, and the sunroof does not leak. Another plus. However, there is a small little water leak in our trunk, and I'm not gonna open the trunk today There's nothing actually in the trunk. It's a bone stock trunk. I actually have some of the pieces out of it so I can start see where the water's coming from. I think it's probably coming from these taillights. We're gonna show you guys the process for diagnosing that water leak. You guys already know. I'm gonna show you guys. We're gonna show you guys how we're gonna fix those water leaks. Now, let's move to where most of our problems lie. Ta-da! There's an engine. And you know what? Even for $100, I'll say it runs badly. It does run though. Here you have your standard D16 Y8 single cam Honda motor with VTEC, baby. This is the stock engine for this car. Very stock. Looks identical to the one I had in my 2000, and it is completely unmodified. No cold air intakes, no exhaust, no aftermarket frills, trills, or anything. This is as stock as you can get. And that is why this is the perfect project. When I buy a car for a project, I like them to be bone stock because then I get to do it all my own. And nobody else has done anything to modify it. If I want to modify it, I can do it the way I want, not the way someone else did. Subaru I bought with an exhaust, which was fine, I'll allow that, but there's no engine mods. The engine is stock. Every car I've ever bought and built had a stock motor, and that's how I like to do it because it allows me to do things the way I want. Now this car is obviously not gonna get anything crazy. We're not doing a B series because B series prices are through the roof compared to when I bought my first one. I remember buying my first complete B series swap for $1,500 for the engine, trans, and ECU and wire harness. That thing ran fantastic. Now it's $4,000 or $5,000 for the same engine. We're not putting $4,000 or $5,000 in this car. It's a 300,000 mile Civic. We're not putting that kind of money into this car. We're gonna fix this engine. What's wrong with it? Well, it's got for sure a bad head gasket and maybe a few other things. We don't know yet, and we won't know till we tear the engine apart in the next video. But one of the telltale signs that it has a bad head gasket is when we pop this open. As you guys can see down in there, see all that black stuff? That is oil. That is oil in the cooling system, which means the head gasket is gone. Now, there are two ways to identify a blown head gasket easily. One of them is your oil looks like chocolate milk, like this picture. Or the other one is kind of that way. You see oil in the cooling system, the other way around. Now, these engines and the dreaded D17 and the Civics after this, when they blow their head gaskets, the most obvious way to see it is actually looking in the coolant overflow. And you'll see this nasty, slicky brown color in your coolant. That is oil in there. And that is the biggest issue with this car. Now, there are other things going on. We might have a little bit of piston slap. We might have some ticky valves, and I'm sure they're gonna find something when the head goes off the machine shop. But that is a problem for after we tear it down. The most important thing that we need to do with this car is tear down that engine and see how bad it is, because that determines the kind of repair we need to do. And I'm going to be very transparent with the money I spend, and at the very end, we're gonna add up how much money I've spent on this car and how much I sold it for. I'm probably more excited for this project than any other car that I've been working on lately. Obviously we're not doing anything crazy or cool to it, we're fixing it. And maybe one tasteful mod on the car that'll help it sell. But we're not doing anything crazy to this car. We're fixing it. But I'm excited because this is a car that I bought, and I get to show you guys how you can take a cheap car, and when you know what you're doing, you can take a cheap car and you can fix it without investing thousands and thousands of dollars. Assuming the engine's okay. If the engine's not okay, this might be a totally different conversation in the next episode. I'm gonna look really stupid if this engine's really bad. In which case, well, K-Series. Oh, don't worry about that. But we'll gloss over that for right now. We're gonna hope that this engine's okay, and I can show you guys a really cool, cheap car build. And if you guys really like this series, maybe I'll buy some more. Maybe we'll do other cars. Maybe we'll do other types of cars. Maybe we'll buy stuff that isn't Hondas. I bought a Honda for the first one because I work for Honda. I know Hondas. Hondas are really second nature to me. And this is really going back to my roots. This is going back to where I started. single cam Civics, guys. I'm rambling now though, so let's. All right, that's enough of me rambling on about this Civic. I think I've got the message across to you guys that I'm very excited to do this budget Civic build. And if you guys are excited to see it, don't forget to smash that like button. Leave me some comments and thoughts down below on this car. What do you guys think of this project? Do you have any advice for me on it? Do you have any advice in general for doing these cheap car builds? What do you want to see? What don't you want to see? Let me know down below. And as always, if this is the stuff you want to see more of, or you want to see more race car content, don't forget to subscribe and so you guys don't miss any of these awesome top tier Fix It Garage videos. Thank you guys all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.